Right now we're standing at St. Pancras Old Church in King's Cross, and this was my first ever show in England, Northern Hemisphere, even when I landed about 2 months prior. And I came to a show here as a fan of one of my friends, Louis Baker, a New Zealand artist. I just loved the venue, and I called up the venue and I said, how much does it cost to book it? And they told me it's like 100 quid. Said it's 100 cap as well. And I said, if I sell £10 a ticket, I'll make £1,000 and I'll be able to pay my rent. And I was so inexperienced at doing live shows. I'd never had really many fans come to a show before. And I forgot my belt. And my mate had to lend me his belt because my trousers were falling down. I was just like so unprepared to play. And I just walked up on stage and I was this guy, like this fresh guy, just landed in London. I was like, hey everyone, how's it going? And as soon as people started singing my lyrics back to me, it was just so surreal. I suddenly had this sort of like hunger to do another show and then another show and form a band and like build my story on this part of the world. And then I ended up staying in London. I've been here for 10 and a half years now, 11 years. And it was because of this show and like the sort of happiness it gave me.
Whatever it is, whatever you say.
I played at the 100 Club over 10 years ago. It was my first ever band show. And I remember calling the venue myself and we announced the show, and within one day it had sold out, which is insane for me because my previous show was at St. Pancras, which is only 100 capacity, and my show before that was in Australia at like 60 capacity, which is just my cousins and my family. So it's still one of the most like thrilling dopamine releases I've ever had in my whole career 10 years later. I mean, the show 10 years ago was so legendary. My fans still see this as part of the Jordan Rakei pilgrimage. They come sit here once a week and reminisce. Here we are at the Jazz Cafe, which was the headline show I played for my album Cloak. And this is one of the most fun shows I ever played. I love this venue and I always wanted to play here. I love D'Angelo's live album that was recorded here. It was a dream of mine to like play here, come here, play this venue, because the crowd is sort of this way rather than this way. So everyone feels like they're surrounding you and there's like a balcony as well. But I just remember like people shouting at me the whole concert. There was lots of banter. I was at the merch desk afterwards, like signed like every single record that I had for sale, every single t-shirt. But it was so unattainable when they told me I was playing Jazz Cafe. I was like, I didn't think I could do it because the venue has so much legacy and history. So to do it and sell it out again in like a day after we announced it was just surreal. The biggest thing for me at this stage of my career was like how surreal it was that I went from a venue like the Jazz Cafe, which is around 400 capacity, and tripling it in size within a few months. So I played Jazz Cafe in November and then played this in April. To me, that was just so surreal. I did not expect it, but again, we launched the tickets and really quickly they sold out. And again, it sort of validated this whole experience of being in London and trying to make it a career as an artist. And I remember getting to the venue being like, this might be it, this might be the pinnacle. Every time I played a new show, I was basically like, this is the pinnacle of my career, you know? And yeah, KOKO was that for me at this stage.
I show my love to the very end.
Here we are at Shepherd's Bush Empire. I played here for my album Wallflower back in 2018 or 2017. And yeah, it was such an amazing time. It was what I would consider like my guitar moment. And I remember coming in this venue, like rocking out the guitar for like half the set. So it was like a new visual moment for the crowd. One of the standout moments is the first track of the set, which is Eye to Eye. And it starts off me walking out, sort of singing it solo, and then the band comes in and it ends with this epic outro. And I just wanted to start the show with this like, here's this new me, here's the new sound straight away, and hit them in the face with sort of like a new genre. So we're at the Roundhouse now. This show I played for my album Origin, and this was a huge jump. I think I went from Shepherd's Bush 1800 to here 3000. And not to say same old story, but we dropped the tickets and it sold out so quickly, and there was so much support around me from the London community, and there was this massive show and dream of mine, because actually I saw one of my favorite ever shows here, Matt Quilby, here many years ago. So to have like my own show here, we brought out the choir, we had the big band, we had the lighting guy come through. It was sort of like building on this production that I'd started at KOKO just down the road, and like trying to elevate my show every time I would play. And Yeah, it was one for the books for us. It was one of my favorite shows. I felt like every time I played a London show, we leveled up, and it was like the benchmark for the next era. This was sort of like the career highlight I thought I was never going to sort of surpass. And I'd seen a lot of my favorite bands when I first moved to London at this venue, and I never dreamed of playing here, playing my own show, and we sold it out. And it was like a culmination of all of my London story and collaborations through like Loyal Kana, Barney, Alpha Mist, Tom Misch, they all came up. It was like a big celebration of all my previous music. One of the highlights for me was actually the fourth song of the set. Loyal Kana came out and we did Ottolenghi. And people say it's quite bold to have a guest come out that early because you want to like establish a show, but it was so satisfying. Like the crowd was mental. And it was the biggest cheer of the night actually for a song that's not even my own, but I just wanted to celebrate the story of my London experience, and getting Loyal up there that early like set the tone for the night. And yeah, it was amazing. The crowd was singing along, and that's probably the highlight of the show, to be honest. Not even my own song.
Whatever you say, will it hurt to reach out here to make amends? Running out of time for what God said.
So we are at Royal Albert Hall, which is the last venue I played in London. I played 2 nights here, and in a way, my career was building up to this moment. I remember the first few months I landed in London, I told my friends, one day I'm going to perform with an orchestra, one day I'm going to record an album with an orchestra, and I made my album knowing I was going to play this venue, so I had to sort of make an album that sounded huge and filled this space. And yeah, we did. We brought an orchestra, we had a choir, we had my big band, drum section, all the singers. And yeah, it was a highlight of my career for sure. To be honest, I wanted to capture it so I could always look back at this moment of my career and watch it and show my children and stuff like that. And it really went just literally perfectly, exactly how we wanted it to. Everything was like nailed, to all the transitions, all the costumes, all the way the lights looked, all the way the film turned out. So yeah, I'm still sort of living on a high 6 months later.